73 AD spring, the western shore of the Dead Sea. Masada, an isolated mesa rising 400 meters above the desert floor, a fortress carved into sheer rock. Eleazar ben Yair stood at the edge of the cliff. Below him stretched the full might of the Roman Empire. 8 garrison camps, a complete siege wall, a vast Roman force. He simply stood there and stared. What was he thinking in that moment? This was the edge of the world. Masada, once a palace fortress built upon sheer cliffs by King Herod. Its massive storehouses and cisterns were said to make it impregnable, capable of withstanding a siege of years. But now only a handful remained within those walls. Men, women, children. Josephus called them the Sicarii. The name derived from the Latin sica, a short dagger. Radical fighters who refused to submit to Rome, who resisted to the very last. But they showed no mercy not only toward Rome, they were unyielding toward their fellow Jews as well. According to Josephus, during the siege, they raided the nearby town of Ein-Gedi, killing many Jewish inhabitants and seizing their supplies. They had been driven that far, pushed to the very edge. To understand how it came to this, we must go back 3 years. 70 AD. Jerusalem had fallen. The legions of Roman General Titus had put the torch to the temple, the sacred heart of the Jewish faith. Josephus writes that more than 100,000 perished, and nearly 97,000 were taken captive. Modern scholars note that ancient sources often exaggerate the scale of wartime casualties, but the magnitude of the catastrophe is beyond doubt. The devastation was real, the horror undeniable. The First Jewish-Roman War. It was over. But some refused to let it end. Eleazar and the men of the Sicarii. They fled to Masada and seized the fortress. And they waited. For 3 years they waited. Autumn 72 AD. Rome moved to end what remained of the rebellion. The commander, Lucius Flavius Silva, legate of the 10th Roman Legion. He marched on Masada at the head of the 10th Legion and its auxiliary forces, a considerable army. Silva looked up at the fortress. Vertical cliffs. No path a man could climb. Surround it. His order was simple. Silva began with a siege wall, an encircling perimeter estimated at roughly 3 kilometers. 8 garrison camps. Every escape route was sealed. Then came the ramp. Against the western cliff face of Masada, they began building a massive earthen slope. Thousands of soldiers and slaves hauled earth and stone without end. After more than half a year of siege, the ramp at last approached the height of the fortress walls. The siege tower came into view. The day they had dreaded was drawing near. Spring 73 AD. Eleazar stood upon the walls. The Roman ramp was now reaching the height of the battlements. The siege tower groaned and rumbled as it climbed the slope. It was only a matter of time before the walls would be breached. By morning, Roman soldiers will be inside these walls. Everyone knew it. That night, Eleazar called an assembly. Every last soul remaining in the fortress gathered in the courtyard. Men, women, and children. According to Josephus, their number was approximately 960. Eleazar rose to speak. In his Jewish War, Josephus records the speech delivered that night. The full text of that speech, however, is most likely a literary reconstruction by Josephus himself. It cannot be independently confirmed through other sources. Even so, this is what Josephus tells us. We must make our decision tonight. The courtyard fell utterly silent. Tomorrow, the Romans will breach the walls. When they do, what becomes of us? The men will be killed or enslaved. The women violated. The children taken away. No one spoke. The torchlight trembled in the wind. But there is another way. Eleazar paused. A long silence fell. We die as free men. God does not wish us to die at Roman hands. God has given us the freedom to choose our own end. According to Josephus, Eleazar spoke for a long time. Our wives will not be violated. Our children will not be enslaved. We ourselves will not be led away in chains. Josephus tells us this. Among those listening, there were those who wept. In obedience to God, We die here, tonight, in this place." Those words fell upon the courtyard like stones. This is the sequence Josephus recorded. Contemporary sources to corroborate it are limited. This account rests heavily on Josephus alone. The men first embraced their wives and children. They spoke their final words, and then they said goodbye. After that, lots were drawn. Remarkably, during excavations in the 1960s, Israeli archaeologist Yigael Yadin uncovered 11 pottery shards, ostraka, bearing names, including one inscribed Ben Yair. These are believed to be the very lots used in those final moments. Here, the narrative of Josephus and the evidence of archaeology converge. The next morning, the Roman siege tower breached the walls. The soldiers of Commander Silva poured into the fortress. Silence. Buildings were burning, but there was not a single armed person to be found. The soldiers pressed deeper inside. According to Josephus, approximately 960 lay dead. Yet the actual skeletal remains uncovered during excavation were remarkably few. Where the bodies went remains unknown to this day. The storehouses, however, stood untouched. Perhaps that was Eleazar's final message to Rome. This was not taken from us. This was our choice. But not everyone had made the same choice. Inside one of the storerooms, 7 survivors remain. 2 women, 5 children. They had heard Eleazar's speech, but they had hidden. Why they chose to hide, no record tells us. And it was these survivors who later told Josephus what had happened at Masada. Their testimony carried this story to the present day. There is something remarkable in that, if you think about it. The story of Masada has been passed down through the words of those who did not choose death. Masada fell, commonly dated to 73 AD, though recent scholarship suggests it may have been 74. The Roman legions occupied the fortress, but by most accounts, there was little celebration among them. In the memory of Israel, Masada would carry symbolic weight for centuries to come. Masada shall not fall again. These words have echoed through modern Israel since the founding of the state. As a place of symbolic power, IDF-related ceremonies have been held at Masada. In recent years, however, concerns over access and environmental preservation have led some units to choose other sites. And within modern Israel, interpretations of Masada continue to evolve. Questions are being raised about the glorification of mass death, alongside a new reading. We must have a state so that this tragedy is never repeated. As long as history is remembered, its meaning will keep being questioned. So what should we take from this story? The choice at Masada is not simple. Josephus records that approximately 960 chose death. 7 chose life. That is the story, as the historical record has preserved it. The words of the speech, the drawing of lots, all of it was set down by a single historian named Josephus. But archaeology has revealed certain facts. The siege wall, the ramp, the storage facilities, and 11 pottery shards. Something happened, with certainty, on top of that rocky plateau. And the question Eleazar posed has not faded in 2,000 years. Can a life without dignity be called a life at all? Now I put the question to you. If you had been at Masada, which would you have chosen? To follow Eleazar and die as a free man? Or to choose survival? And one more question. In our own time, can the choice to give one's life for freedom and dignity still be justified? Share your answer in the comments below. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart, for staying with me until the very end. For 2,000 years, the story of Masada has kept asking us what freedom, dignity, and life itself truly mean. Here on Turning Point History, we keep telling stories like this one, diving deep into the human souls at history's great turning points. If the human drama buried in history speaks to you, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next one.